Hi YouTube and welcome back to Tamara's Tarot Oracle channel. Today I thought I'd make a quick little video in regards to the Suit of Cups. I have been using the Morgan Greer Tarot and making a few videos just explaining each card throughout the deck as like a little walkthrough for beginners. It's also a great little exercise for me to, help reinforce the knowledge that I have for each and every card meaning. I'm still learning, so this is a great way for me to, strengthen that and a fun way to communicate and express myself to those of you who are watching. So far I have worked through the 22 major Arcana cards and the 14 cards of the Wand suit. So today I'm going to be talking about the Suit of Cups. Now, the Suit of Cups is all about emotion and feeling, emotions, feelings, friendships, creativity, intuition, dreams, that type of thing. It's a very deep, very soulful suit. And I think it happens to be my favorite, probably. So we start off with the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is a beautiful card, and I really like the depiction in this particular deck of the Morgan Greer Tarot, and it's a dove behind an overflowing cup of water, and what that represents is the abundance and overflowing of emotions and feelings. And I think each one of the streams of water that are spilling out of the golden cup represent each one of our five senses. And it's a great card to get when you're beginning a creative project or there's a birth of a new life, a new idea concerning creativity. And it's about, listening to your dreams and your intuition and feeling with all your heart and soul. And this is when the ace comes along, it is this unchecked, unfulfilled potential. As I have mentioned, with the Ace of Wands, that there's all this unlimited, all these gifts given to you with the Ace, and it's what you choose to do with them that will bring, its desired outcome into fruition. So that's the Ace of Cups. It's a very pretty card. Next, we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is about unity and balance and romance and that deep, deep love and care for one another. It often signifies marriage, the joining of two souls in perfect unity. It's just a very deep and very, it doesn't always have to be a relationship in that way. It can also be a deep friendship. I look at it like, a deep soul connection. And I believe that we all have soul groups and that, it doesn't always have to be of a romantic nature. It can be a strong connection with a child or a grandparent or a stranger or a friend, a teacher. It could be your partner, your mate, or your, however you want. It could be anything, really. It's just this unspoken connection that you just have with this particular person. And you can't quite explain it. It's just there. And I believe, past lives and things like that, maybe these souls, were joined to us then and carry through with us along our journey and we're part of their journey. And so I've always believed in soulmates, and I believe that you can most definitely have more than one, because soulmates to me doesn't just mean the person that you marry, or can mean other things as well. When it comes to that deep emotional, feeding the soul and that sort of thing. Next, we have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is celebration. It's community. It's coming together and being with friends and loved ones, or people with interests, shared interests. And it could be also the wonderful news of the birth of a baby or that kind of thing. Not necessarily yourself giving birth, but just the wonderful news and celebrating that as one of the most beautiful miracle of life. So this is a really beautiful card. It's just about coming together and celebrating the good times and being around those that we love and that, you know, who love us, and those who we share a sacred bond with. That to me is the Suit of Cups. Essentially, it's about sharing a sacred bond or many sacred bonds, and it just goes to that deeper level, that soul, you know, fulfilling feeling of just being truly connected. And yeah, so that brings me to the Four of Cups. It's about discontent or detachment, boredom, not really seeing what you have right in front of you. It could also be a great card to, you know, represent maybe taking the time to see what you have and to appreciate what you have, and not to forget what you have, and not to always think that the grass is greener on the other side. So here we have a hand coming out of the cloud, offering him a gift, and he's just not interested. So maybe he's a bit depressed, or, you know, whatever it may be. As you can see, there's 3 full cups and then a 4th one being offered. So he has lots to be grateful for. And he just needs to realize that and acknowledge that and realize that it's never as bad as you make it out to be. So it's all about, you know, state of mind. The next card we have is the 5 of Cups. It's more like the grieving, disappointment, heartache kind of card. Like it's something's over. It could have been a breakup and it just left you very down in the dumps. So now you can see that this figure's back is towards a two cups that are still there, still left standing. Like he hasn't been defeated, even though these 3 have spilt over. Seems like that's all he's dwelling on, you know, instead of seeing the good that came from this situation, the lessons that were learned from this particular situation, and seeing what he still has left to build from. And there you see his home in the background. Like it's not as terrible as all that, but of course, when we're going through the grieving process, we each deal with that differently, and we each have to go through our own mental process. And it's not always easy. And but it's good to try and remind ourselves and have others help remind us that we still have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to live for, and not to forget that. We have the 6 of Cups next, and that, to me, I mean, some think of it as the soulmate card. Maybe somebody from your past is coming back into your life. To me, it means that as well, but it's also like nostalgia and thinking back to childhood memories, and something involving children, you know, just bringing out that inner child, or maybe, you know, your own children, or something that represents children, you know, harmony, innocence, playfulness, and going back to a time that, you know, made you happy, made you feel good, but not getting lost in that, and also coming back to reality and realizing that to live in the past can also be detrimental by, you know, stunting your growth from moving on to the future. And I'm a little bit guilty of that. You know, it's so nice in the past. Sometimes it's an easy escape, so you don't have to deal with the present day, you know, whatever. Anyway, so that's the 6 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is about too many choices, illusion. It's about daydreaming and thinking, you know, overthinking maybe, that you have all these options, and it's great to have choices, but to have too many can also be hazardous and rather, you know, hinder than help. And sometimes not everything appears as it seems as they appear. And although some of them may look pretty and sparkly and tempting, you know, it may not necessarily turn out that way. And some of the other ones that look a little bit, you know, ominous might actually turn out to surprise you for the better and be what you needed in order to move on and all that. So it's about, you know, it's great to think about what we have and the choices that we have. And it's nice to know that we have the choice. We always have the choice. But sometimes to get too caught up in that, it prevents us from moving forward and making a decision. So that's something to, be mindful of and watch out for. The Eight of Cups is about sacrifice in a sense. It's about sort of cutting your losses and assessing what's working, what's not, and knowing when to let go and move on. Even though these cups have been strategically placed and it looks like there's been some time and effort put into doing that, this person's willing to still walk away because they know that it's no longer serving them. And it's okay, because sometimes that's what we need in order to keep growing. Otherwise, we kind of hit like a wall and like a rut, and it's so easy to stay stuck there. It could also mean going away for a while and maybe coming back at a later stage. So it really depends on the current situation and the surrounding cards. Okay. And as you can see, the moon, the cycles, as it waxes and wanes, so that represents, time, the passage of time. And it's very pagan-y, and I need to actually learn about all of this. I just received a beautiful pagan deck, but I will talk about that in a review that I do coming up. This is the Nine of Cups. There's always some weird dude in the depiction of the Nine of Cups in like every deck, pretty much, with exceptions. But it's funny. In fact, I don't know if you know the actor Oliver Platt, but that's who this character looks like to me. So yeah, he's rosy and red in the cheeks. He's had a little bit too much to drink, but it's just about fulfillment, and I think it's known as the wish card. And his cups are all full, or maybe not so much anymore. Maybe he's drank from all of them, but life is good. He's surrounded by the things that, all these sensuous, luxurious, that kind of thing. Like he's pretty happy and content. And okay, so we have the Ten of Cups, which is about harmony and success. And, I look at it like the milestone card. It's celebrating maybe a graduation or some kind of milestone and uniting the family, even friends. You're all very close and you're all on the same page and you're all very connected, and it's just a very happy, joyous celebration. The Page of Cups represents this curiosity and this innocence when it comes to all matters of the heart. So, they may fall in love easily because they don't have the maturity, the experience that comes along with the maturity to know what it's all about yet. And as I can remember my first heartache, and it seems, like, oh my God, it was the end of the world back then. I think back now, it's like, oh my God. But, when you don't have anything to compare it to, and you're so young and naive, and that doesn't just represent a young person. It could be somebody who's young at heart. It could be somebody like that, a young soul. But it's also, just this unlimited potential for, a new relationship or creative project, and just somebody who thinks in a more deep, emotional way, who looks more inward towards, their instincts and their intuition and their that kind of thing, just like their dreams, and pays attention to all that stuff and really goes on feeling. So they're a very emotional type of energy. This is the Knight of Cups. He's like Don Juan, Casanova, Romeo. He's in love with love, and I don't think he means to like intentionally or maliciously set out to hurt anyone, but he does that because he's kind of too wrapped up in himself. I think those are the more negative connotations. He's also a very caring, loving, devoted person, when he really puts his mind to it. And although he may not be the most reliable, because like emotions, they tend to be inconsistent or, wane and whatever, but, he means well, and he's a very warm, loving, gentle, soft, caring being. And he also represents creativity. And so the knights are the suits where it's in the courts that, they're very action oriented and very go-getter type of attitude. And they're much about making changes. And, he kind of takes his time. He's not really like the Knight of Wands where he's, charging ahead and slaying the dragon and bursting in through the, whatever. But he's a sensitive soul, but he feels a lot, and it can also be a little bit of a So watch out for, you know, the Knight of Cups. He needs to mature still. He needs to know what he wants and he needs to be able to settle down, and he's not at that stage yet. The Queen of Cups is a very empathetic card. Oh, I should have mentioned that the a great word for this suit is charming. It's very charming. So sorry, back to the Queen of Cups. So she's very empathetic. She's a very loving, devoted wife and mother, sometimes overbearing. She just wants everyone to be well taken care of. And sometimes she doesn't always realize she's overstepping, but she's just a beautiful person, and she just wants to help, and she just feels everything everybody else feels. And she's a very deep, intuitive woman, as the queens all are. They're more intuitive, whereas the kings are more action oriented. So she's a very sensitive soul. And what I actually just realized now is I could associate the zodiac signs with the court cards. I'll do that in a second. Just sprang to mind. I don't really have any like script or notes. I should maybe have some notes, but it just kind of, whatever comes out, comes out. Last but not least, the King of Cups. He's more emotionally in control. So I've heard things about like he's more apt to have a drinking problem. So he's emotionally controlled, but maybe because he keeps things a little bit too inward, and so sometimes it gets the best of him, and that's how he learns to cope. So not always the healthiest way, or anything in excess is not healthy. But he's a very, very deep, very kind, loving, gentle man. He's big in the arts and that kind of thing. So I mean, the Cups is very much about expressing yourself artistically in a very creative and deep, soulful way. What I wanted to quickly say in regards to the suit cards, the page, or just the suit of cups, they basically represent the water sign of the zodiac, which is Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio. Now I can't remember which is which. I think I want to say the Knight is Pisces, the Queen is Scorpio, and the King is Cancer. Don't know where that leaves him. I can't remember. There's anyway, I'm not doing this any justice. I'm going to stop. But yeah, so this is a great suit. This is very much about emotions, as I said, and when this suit comes up in a reading, it very much has to do with relationships and creativity. So that's my quick video on the suits of cups, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please like it if you do, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and check out my blog. I've just started it, and I believe it is tarotoracle.blogspot.ca. Oh gosh, I have it in my about section on my YouTube profile. Anyway, so it's there, and it's kind of a long name. That's why I'm because you know how names are taken, and it's just like a free site to get up and running, and I like to write, and it's one form of expression that I really enjoy. And so I hope you will check that out. Like I said, I've just started, so there's only a couple blogs up, but it's basically a couple deck reviews I've done on the Good Tarot, and the other one is the Fairy Tarot, Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see or speak to everyone soon. Okay.